What if someone handed you an envelope with a date inside? Your death date. Would you open it? Pause for a moment and imagine. How would it feel to know the precise day your life would end? Would it terrify you, inspire you, or leave you paralyzed? Most of us avoid thinking about death, but here's the truth: avoiding it doesn't make it less real. By the end of this video, you'll understand why confronting mortality, even hypothetically, can unlock a more meaningful life. Stay with me because this might change everything. We all live with the knowledge that our time will end one day. But here's the paradox: we behave as though we're immortal. How many dreams have you put on hold, assuming you'll always have more time? How often do you prioritize distractions over what truly matters? Martin Heidegger, one of the most influential existential philosophers, argued that death is not just an end, it's a mirror. He believed that most people live in what he called everydayness, a mindless routine. We distract ourselves with busyness and trivial tasks, avoiding the reality of our mortality. But Heidegger offered a profound insight. Life becomes authentic when we confront the fact that our time is finite. He called this being toward death. Imagine how differently you'd live if you knew your death date. Would you still waste hours scrolling through social media? Would you still stay in a job or relationship that drains you? Or would you realign your life with what truly matters: love, passion, and legacy? Heidegger's message is clear. Death isn't just something to fear, it's a wake-up call to live authentically. Now imagine this: you know your exact death date. Would that knowledge liberate you or terrify you? Jean-Paul Sartre, another existentialist giant, believed that humans are condemned to be free. What he meant is this: life has no inherent meaning. We create it through our choices. But freedom comes with a price: responsibility. Sartre warned about bad faith, a state where people avoid taking responsibility for their lives by blaming external circumstances. Now think about it. If you knew your death date, you'd have no room for excuses. Every decision would feel monumental. How would you spend your mornings? Whom would you forgive? What dreams would you chase? Sartre's point is that we can no longer lie to ourselves when the clock is ticking. We're forced to face the truth about our priorities. But here's the paradox: freedom can be overwhelming. Knowing your death date might feel like a gift, but it could also feel like a burden. Sartre would ask, are you ready to take ownership of your life? Even if you accept your mortality, a bigger question remains. If life ends, does anything truly matter? This is the heart of Albert Camus' philosophy of the absurd. Camus argued that life is inherently absurd, a clash between our desire for meaning and the universe's silence. Knowing your death date would make this absurdity even starker. Imagine waking up every day knowing exactly how many days remain. Would it feel like a countdown to oblivion or a chance to make every moment count? In the myth of Sisyphus, Camus describes a man condemned to roll a boulder up a hill for eternity. And yet he imagines Sisyphus smiling. Why? Because even in the face of absurdity, the struggle gives life meaning. Camus believed that if the universe offers no meaning, we must create it ourselves. So here's the question. If you knew your death date, would it lead you to despair, or would you embrace life with more extraordinary passion and defiance? But not every philosopher sees death as an ending. Baruch Spinoza, a 17th century thinker, believed that while our bodies die, our essence is eternal. Spinoza argued that every action and thought becomes part of a larger, infinite whole. Even after we're gone, our life impact ripples outward through the people we touch, the knowledge we share, and the love we give. Imagine planting a tree you'll never sit under, or teaching a skill that outlives you. Spinoza teaches us that these small acts of connection transcend death. They remind us that we're part of something greater than ourselves. Here's a question that many great thinkers have explored. Do we live for ourselves, or do we live for others? This tension is central to how we view mortality. On one hand, life is deeply personal. Our dreams, fears, and experiences shape our unique journey. But on the other hand, our impact on others often defines the legacy we leave behind. As the philosopher Simone de Beauvoir pointed out, our freedom is intertwined with the freedom of others. In her view, our lives gain meaning through individual pursuits and how we contribute to the world. If you knew your death date, would it change how you treat the people in your life? Would it inspire you to be more present, giving, and empathetic? If mortality wasn't just a personal awakening but a shared human experience that redefined how societies function? As Hannah Arendt argued, the awareness of death creates personal responsibility and collective accountability. She believed that the fragility of life should compel us to act as stewards not just of our existence, but of the world we'll leave behind. If everyone lived with the clarity of their mortality, would wars cease, injustices diminish, and communities grow stronger? Perhaps, in recognizing the shared inevitability of death, we could also identify the shared potential for unity. Where Spinoza saw eternity, Friedrich Nietzsche saw a challenge. He believed that the awareness of death should push us to rise above mediocrity. Nietzsche posed a provocative question. If your life repeated endlessly, if every decision you made had to be lived repeatedly, would you live the same way? This was his concept of the eternal recurrence, a thought experiment to measure the greatness of your life. Knowing your death date might force you to confront whether your life is worth reliving. Would you be proud of your choices? Or would you wish you could start over? Nietzsche's call wasn't just to survive, but to thrive magnificently. He urged us to create lives so extraordinary that they demand retelling. Not every response to death has to be extraordinary. Epicurus, an ancient philosopher, believed that true happiness lies in simplicity. Epicurus taught that overcoming the fear of death allows us to savor life's minor pleasures, a shared meal, friendship, warmth, and nature's beauty. If you knew your death date, would you pursue extravagance or find joy in the little things? Epicurus reminds us that life's beauty is often found in the details, not the grand gestures. He believed that gratitude is the key to a fulfilling life. Life's greatest paradox is that while it's finite, its meaning is infinite. So, how will you choose to live before your time runs out?